Welcome to the Small Business Breakthrough Podcast, where every week we're interviewing small business owners that support the small business community. And you got to know this understanding money is a major part of owning a small business. Some would say it's the key as to whether you're successful or ultimately fails. Today, it, our guest is a PhD in educational neuroscience and specializes in helping women get control of their business money essentials. Welcome, Dr. Annie Cole, founder of Money Essentials for Women, to the podcast.
Oh, I'm so excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
Dr. Annie Cole, it is fantastic. We're going to have such a great conversation today. Give us an inspiration. What was you've been through an entire doctor program. You helped a big business or helped a business become a big company in the educational space. But what was the decision around founding this program and the importance around helping women in business?
It really came from a place of personal passion. So when I first got my degree, I got my bachelor's, I became a social worker. I was making $26,000. I was struggling and I was, destined for maybe a life plan that I wasn't excited about. So I made a huge shift. I did everything I could. I went back to school, learned how to climb the ladder, how to advocate for myself. And then before I knew it, I was in a vice president role. I had invested hundreds of thousands of dollars on real estate and I was heading towards retirement in my 40s. And I just hit this moment of, wow, I'm doing so great financially, but I know there's a lot of women out there who don't know how to do the most with their money. I want to fill the gap in the market. I want to create a space that is educational, does a lot of coaching, all that in between for people who don't necessarily want to go talk to a retirement planner or a financial advisor, but they want to do something in between. So Money Essentials was born and it's been less than a year. I just launched it actually last year in 2024.
Excellent. So, with having a brand new program and having things to grow and build in the business, what has been the most exciting part of the last year of building this new program?
I think the most exciting thing was making my first sale. Of course, any business owner, the first time you actually have proof of concept, someone bought my program, that was pretty dang cool. And I was telling this story recently to a friend that I was going live with my first online course. Someone bought the course right before I had set up my LLC. So I was freaking out, I got to go set up my LLC tomorrow. Got it all set up. The business was, of course, fine. But making that first sale was pretty dang cool. And then I'll just say I have fallen in love with marketing and lead generation. It's something that is so crucial to business. And it's also something that I now teach a lot of other people how to do because it's so complicated. If you don't have leads and clients coming into your business, again, if you're not making money, it's going to be hard to stay in business for very long.
Yeah, money is a kind of the fuel that fuels the burning passion that is, as you will, um, going through that. You made a comment inside of that where you have to have leads, you have to have money, and the other part of it is you have to have sales. Like, and leads and sales are not the same thing, right? So how do you help women overcome that combination of gaining leads, but then closing deals?
Yep, that's a great question. So, depending on where someone is at with their business, we may have a different targeted approach. So, I do some one on one coaching, but I also have a very holistic program where I teach people how to get clients. And that program includes 4 phases: right product, right avatar, right client journey, all the way through how to market yourself and how to close a sale. Because you're right, they are different things. And if you don't have all the pieces in line, if you focus only on marketing, you're going to dump a lot of people into your website or your funnel and they may not convert. If you just focus on sales, you might not be getting enough people coming into the funnel to actually eventually sell them. So, yeah, I focus on all those pieces, but it depends where someone is at and where the leaks are. What are they struggling with? Because we can hone in on one or the other depending on what they really need.
Yeah, and then you also brought up a point of you didn't have your LLC done before you got your first sale, and so it's not a matter. I'm not saying this is a critical element of you have to have all your ducks in a row. What I'm saying is you actually don't have to have all your ducks in a row to be able to make a sale and have a business. Like, just figure it out as you go. Get the sales is the more important side because if you don't have customers, you don't have a business, you have a hobby. So
Yep.
the you talk to us a little bit about how you apply your educational neuroscience background where you have a doctorate. How do you apply that to really helping women be successful in business?
I think it shows up in a lot of things I do. So, number one, a lot of the work I'm doing with folks is very much coaching and mentorship, and that's relationship building. So, for me, I'm thinking all the time when I'm interacting with someone, where are they currently at? What are their thought processes? And how can I interrupt those thought processes to help them think in new ways? Or they're asking me this question, that's telling me that they're at this phase. So, I need to meet them where they're at to start building on that belief system to move them forward. So, a lot of it is honestly understanding where your clients are at mentally and how that impacts their behaviors to then motivate them towards taking action. So the counseling and the coaching piece is really important. But then on the marketing side, if I'm teaching someone how to market their business or how to make a sale, buyer psychology is coming into all of that. So there's a difference between, let's say you have a sales page and you say, I'm really great at finances, come work with me. The next sales page says, I worked with 100 clients and they all gave me 5-star reviews. Here are their testimonials. And then you have a third one that maybe is storytelling and empathizing with someone's pain of how they're stuck and they want to just reach financial freedom. Those are different ways that you can start to leverage our psychology to tell really good stories to get people bought in to then buy. So it shows up in everything I do, but those are just two really, strong examples of where it shows up all the time.
Yeah, definitely. Hey, real quick. Did you know that most small businesses don't actually achieve their breakthrough? And it's not because you don't care. It's all because you're trying to do it alone. That's why I created the Momentum Community, is to help you change that. I want to see you achieve the breakthrough that you've been waiting for. It's where we committed entrepreneurs come and get focused, get accountable, and finally build a business and life that you are meant for. If you want to learn more, click the link in the description below and enjoy the rest of the episode. What's been one of your greatest successes in the last, year that you've been building your business? What's that's really reminded you like this, that's that key inspiration of like, this is exactly why I wanted to go down this path?
It's the success stories. It's the client work for sure. I mean, I started off wanting to be a social worker, so I'm a helper at heart. And when I remember one of my early on clients, she was in debt and came to me and just said, I have been in debt for so long, but I'm ready to change it. What do I do? And we created this really robust plan of here's what your budget could look like. She called the different companies and figured out how to negotiate good payment plans and interest rates, and there was just so much relief emotionally and financially for that person just because we made a plan. So, whenever I can help someone feel like they know how to move forward towards their goals and then sleep at night knowing that everything is moving forward, that's honestly why I do it. It's just the coolest thing in the world.
So, Dr. Aniko, I want to go down this little bit of a rabbit hole with this conversation because one of the things, so I've worked with many coaches. In fact, I just wrapped up 9 months with a personal trainer. And in the conversations that we've had with is the element of how to keep people motivated, right? So you just talked about a lady who wanted to get out of debt and go down this, and you helped create this plan. What is some of the tactical things, tactical conversations that you could recommend people have, even in the coaching community with their clients, that could spark that motivation? Because what happened is, so we had a really great 9 months, made great progress on for my plan. But what happened is in the conversation with my personal trainer, the clients would struggle with repetition, like showing up
Mhm.
if they didn't have the trainer time. So I had one trainer day a week, and then I went 2 days without. And even early on, I struggled with that to be able to go consistently.
Yeah.
How could a like personal trainer or coach in it work or create an element of desire to in conversation to get their clients potentially to, is there any tricks or hacks that you might have?
I could probably talk about this for 5 hours straight. This is one of my favorite things. Anytime it's, how do we leverage psychology to make behavior happen? Oof, I could go on and on. So there's a couple different things we can do. First, you think about, intrinsic, the things that we're internally motivated by, and extrinsic, because both are going to be valuable. And it depends on the person. So if you are extrinsically motivated, for example, you really want to lose weight, you're going to be motivated by seeing the actual number change on the scale or seeing your clothes fit you differently. So motivation is going to be tied by having those tiny triggers constantly showing you that something is possible. So it's either giving you hope or it's giving you a sign that you're actually moving towards your goal. Also, if you're extrinsically motivated, you can have a lot of external signals. So you can have, a background on your phone. You could read your goals every single morning. You could journal and reflect on them at night. Those kind of things are going to help you see the vision. And then internally, it's a lot about our expectations. So if your expectation is, I know I really want this thing and I can envision myself getting there in the next 12 months, that's going to be something you probably are more motivated to stick with versus, oh, I just want to feel better tomorrow. It's going to, if you don't see that instant gratification, it's going to feel harder. So the more you can create this outline of, I can envision how I'm going to get there and then continue to remind yourself of that, you're going to stick with it. And you're going to have that internal motivation.
Oh, that is excellent. Does that have any so from an extrinsic and intrinsic point of view, is that also would you be able to tell if you're is that like similar to extroverted, introverted, or are they
Mm.
unrelated?
I think Well, introverts tend to be more analytical. So they might be more in tune with their inner feelings and the things that are motivating them. But I don't know that that would mean they're more motivated by the internal, potentially. Like my hypothesis would be yes, you're probably, if you're introverted, a little more motivated by the internal because you're so attached and aware of your own feelings. But that'd be interesting. Someone needs to do a study on that.
Well, there you go. But maybe somebody listening, listeners out there, there you go. There's your next study,
Yeah.
to go with. So, um, we've talked a lot about helping women move forward. Talked a lot about you've been doing this for a year. Where do you see your industry going in the next 2 to 3 years down the road? How is it evolving? And what are you doing to stay with it since you're new in especially being newer into the business? Um, you're kinda riding the wave as it's happening versus seeing, all of a sudden this huge wave of stuff kinda overcoming you as you've been doing all the normal things for those that have been in the business for 10, 15 years. How are you approaching this riding the wave of technology through the industry and adapting as the world is changing so fast?
Yeah. Well, my original vision for Money Essentials was to meet this need in the market where women who start, and really anyone, not just women, but if you start to make good enough money, but you didn't come from a family that knows a lot about how to do finances, you kind of get stuck in this limbo. You maybe have a job, a retirement account, and a bank account, but you don't really know all the other pieces, like how to actually make the most of your tax strategy or how to set up a trust or a will or estate planning. So it's some of those bigger things that I'm trying to help people with. I think from a business standpoint, we have a lot of women and a lot of people in general who are starting to lean into trying to work for themselves, the side hustles, the gig work. That's just going to become more and more popular. So I think financial planning and business planning for more people doing it on their own is going to become really important. So one of the things I'm doing is actually building out a directory of team members that work with me as consultants that I can refer clients off to that are experts in all the pieces. So the tax strategy, the business financial planning, small business marketing, all of those pieces. So that's one part of it. And then I think also AI and financial planning. I am so curious how that's going to start to blend in. It makes me excited. There's a lot that I love about that. There's also a lot that I am fearful will potentially give people wrong information. So I just want to continue to lean into education, educate people on how to use AI in the way it can be best, and then also warn them in ways that it might give them wrong information so that hopefully people just make good financial decisions.
Yeah, definitely. We've utilizing it in a positive way, but understanding that it's not the end all answer. Just like you can't follow the the philosophy of everything on the internet is true because it's not. It's a lot of it is made up, and it takes some discernment to be able to understand what is right and what is not right. And if your gut tells you it's not right, you probably want to listen a little bit to that and do some
Yeah.
extra research on it.
Yep. Absolutely.
It has been a fantastic conversation. I've loved the deep dives we have done across the conversation. Are you ready to jump into our lightning round and wrap things up here?
Let's do it. I'm ready.
Okay. Coffee or tea?
Coffee all the way.
About cats or dogs?
Ooh, dogs. I just have to say, I have the craziest dog. We did a DNA test. She is German Shepherd, Poodle, and Chihuahua.
That is a that's a
Yeah.
very interesting combination.
Yes.
Uh, I have a half lab, quarter Great Pyrenees, quarter Anatolian Shepherd.
Oh,
Um,
fun.
and and they're come. Oh, we know though they come from purebred, a purebred combo. So it was a accident puppy, but we love him nonetheless. So he okay. If you could grab only one weapon or item during a zombie apocalypse, what would it be?
I immediately think bat. Hard, long, could be used as a tool.
There you go. Yep. How about a favorite quote or phrase that you think about often?
Oh, the one I think about all the time is why not me? And I wish more people thought about that because I used to think, as a woman and just as a person, I used to think like there's a lot of shame or feeling confident in yourself. And the why not me is more from a place of anyone is capable of anything if they have the right strategy and support. So thinking why not me just helps me take a lot of risks in my own life.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a great one. How about a book that has influenced your life the most?
Tony Robbins, I think Awaken the Giant Within. It's an oldie, but oh, I read that in my 20s and it changed my life.
Yeah, that's I have not read it that one, but it does sound like it's a great book. How about the biggest obstacle you have had to overcome and one lesson you have learned from it?
Mm. I got married really young. I was 21 and then I got divorced when I was 26. So went through marriage, got divorced, started completely over. And I actually share this story a lot to show other women that they can do a lot financially because I was in my late 20s with $1,000 to my name and started over and then was able to still do everything I've done since then. So divorce is not the end. Big life changes are not the end. There's so much you can do and restart.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. It has been a fantastic conversation. Listeners out there, listen to this episode. There are nuggets upon nuggets to go back and pull out of about the importance of what it is to mean taking care of your money can take care of your life, take care of the business, and keep you going forward for success. And if you've found value inside of this podcast, the other playlist is located up here in the corner. Take a listen. If you are watching this on YouTube, just click on the link. If you're listening to this on audio, thank you for your time. Leave us some feedback. Leave us a comment. Leave us a review. We'd appreciate to know how well we're doing and what we can do better. And until next time.